After the ball is over, after this game is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 384. Today is Saturday, January 11th, 2020, as we are recording. I am Marlecia, also known as Lady Fernico.
I'm Talia, also known as Franciscan Gypsy.
We want to welcome all new and returning viewers to the Fun in the Woman Cave. We thank you for joining us. If you are new, as always, we're glad that you found us, and we hope that you will find something that brings you back. If you are returning, yay. Yay, yay, yay. We're glad to have you with us again. And if you are new or returning, but you're still in the shadows, please feel free to officially join us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and or, if you'd like, join us at our PHN home, which is phnpodcast.freeforums, freeforums.net. So it's phnpodcastfreeforums.net, and that's where all the alongs and giveaways and fun and all that kind of stuff takes place. We'd love to have you there as well. We do have a couple of new official members. We have Smiles571, welcome.
Welcome.
And Penny, welcome Penny. We're glad to have you both with us, and we look forward to seeing your participation as you can, okay? I wasn't going to say anything about charities, and I'm not going to go into charities a lot, except to say that I am going to be making a run into Winchester today after the podcast, very brief, to drop off some stuff for Evan's home for Laura, who is Gracie's mom, 62, who is in our Knitter's Magic local yarn shop. Mm-hmm. Wonderful place. And that will come up again later in the podcast when I talk about shop news. Mm-hmm. Okay? Let's see here. We will talk about, and like I said, we probably won't talk about the charity except once a month, but I probably will kind of dial back or speed up, however that works, on it and do every couple of weeks because we are doing a charity along.
Right.
So I'll probably do it like every other week or something like that instead. All right. Now,
your turtles take it more than his fair share of her fair share of the
it's her couch, and she says she is allowing you to
She's barely
sit.
sharing this cushion.
Well, then move over. There's plenty of room.
She's taking up the space.
Mm-hmm. It's her couch.
Bad turtle.
She is not a bad turtle. Maybe you're just a bad guest.
Bad turtle.
Anyway, going into our longs. Okay. We have the PHN Ready, Set, Go, Cal, Lau.
Maybe I'll use hers.
Or as the Cozy Up Knit ladies call it, the Ready, Set, Go Make Along. Okay? I guess it's a Mal?
Mal.
Mal is bad. Not their Mal. It's a Firefly reference.
Mm-hmm. I made the exact same reference last week.
It was either last week or 2 weeks ago.
It would have been 2 weeks ago because we didn't podcast in 2 weeks prior.
Whatever. I don't care. It's not important. Anyway.
The important things that I'm right.
PHN, Ready, Set, Go, Cal, Lau. And this is our third year of doing this. And we have lovely co-hosts in the four lovely ladies from the Cozy Up Knits podcast. That's Jamie, Sarah, Katie, and Chrissy. And I think I always get Chrissy's name wrong. I'm not sure if it's Chrissy or Christy, but I think it's Chrissy. So she needs to poke me, or Jamie. I think Jamie actually watches this once in a while. So if she can poke me and let me know what the names are, I would love to get them correct, because I hate when people mess up with people's names. So anyway.
I'm sure Patty will poke you.
Patty will poke me, yes. That's Wombat of Doom. Anyway, we are excited to have them as co-hosts for this along. And they are doing their part of the along, I think both on the Ravelry group and on Instagram. Their hashtag for Instagram is hashtag Cozy Up Knits Ready Set Go MAL 2020, I think it is. It's in their group. You can find it there. Our hashtag is hashtag PHN Ready Set Go 2020. All right, on Instagram. It runs January 1st through March 31st. Okay, no previous whips are allowed in this make along. It's just things that you start January 1st, start all things, and goes through the 31st. The projects don't even have to be finished for us. When I talk about the rules, know that their rules are similar, Cozy Up Knits, but they might not be exactly the same. Okay, because we have some things that might be a little different, such as we allow frogging the whole month of January. So if you want to get things off of your needles so you can start all the things, or your hooks or looms so you can start all the things, then this is the time to do it. But you have to show the project at the point where you're at, and then also show a picture of it frogged so we can see pre-frog pond and after frog pond. Okay, so and that will be through the end of January. That'll be allowed for chances of prize. All right, chatter and pictures are all in the same thread. Anything that started January 1st or later, and the whips of those projects that are new starts will be allowed. Okay. If you have less than 50 yards for the project, please join it with another project, okay? So that, you know, the prizes are nice, and we want to make sure that everybody has an equal chance with equal kind of projects, okay? One whip per project per week, the FO whenever it's completed. Prizes.
Keep talking. I forgot Brittany's thing.
Prizes are
Excuse me.
coming in still. I have to look and see what we have available for those, but we will have prizes. As always, any Franciscan Gypsies Designs FO, any Lady Furnico's Creation Yarn FO, or my shawl pattern as an FO, and any Cozy Up Knits design FO is eligible for 2 chances at a prize. And if you put together my yarn and Cozy Up Knits pattern, or Talia's patterns, or my own pattern, that's eligible for 3 chances at a prize for the FO, provided you do all the multiple postings. Okay, just tell us why. All right, you guys are old hands at this. This is mostly for the newbies. Let's see here. Yes. There's something else I was going to say, but I can't remember, so it can't be too much importance. We will keep you updated as we get more information. The PHN Charity Cal Cal Lal 2019 is a year-long one, and is basically the same rules as Ready Set Go, except that you can have anything that you're working on already, because this is not Ready Set Go. This is the Charity Cal Cal Lal, okay? And it runs through the entire year, so that's different from our other one. And let's see here. I'm just trying to hit the things that are different. All charity projects will be accepted, but baby items will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize for the FO, as will anything in Franciscan Gypsies Designs, if you use that to give away for charity. My shawl, my yarn, and I believe this is where I also said Laura's yarn. Okay, Laura Concert, who is Lollipop Girl Yarns, I believe. So those are eligible for 2 chances at a prize for a finished object, and if, as always, if the yarn is married to a featured pattern, that's 3 chances at a prize for the FO, and you are responsible for the multiple postings. This is hashtag PHN Charity 2020 on Instagram, okay? And we have prizes. Looney Hiker, who is our wonderful Pat, has very generously donated one of her patterns as a prize for this along, and they can be found. Her patterns can be found on Lovecrafts or Ravelry. We have a knit baby book and a knit baby book set right now. Those are the prizes right now. I know I want to pull one more at least, because this is going to be a quarterly giveaway. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure we have at least a prize or 2 for each quarter, and we have been very generously provided with prizes in the past, and we have some that are still sitting in boxes.
We should see if we have any extra either knit baby books that are like not being used, or
yeah. I mean, like I said, we have
any
stuff.
like prayer shawl.
Yeah, we have stuff. that we can look through, and we also have stuff we've been donated that I have to go through again.
Oh, okay.
So, and people are always very generous. I have stuff in my boxes that are earmarked for things. I have to go look at them to make sure that I give them to the right places. Because you guys are amazing. We could not give the prizes we give without your generosity and support. I do want to thank everybody, since we are kind of talking about prizes at the moment, who has gotten back to me. Everybody who contacted me about prizes, I did receive your email. I've been super busy, and I'll tell you about that when we hit Etsy Shop News. That's why I haven't returned any messages about addresses. I still need to hear from the person who won the prize from my shop, and I think one other. I'm not positive. Please contact me. I think the one who won the prize from my shop was Should S Hold. I don't want to mention her name on the podcast because I don't have her permission. I think she's one of our more private ones. So if you know her, and you're sure that if you watched the podcast recently, because apparently I can't remember anything from one week to the next, if you know that for a fact, maybe nudge her so she knows that she won something. Okay? All right, moving on to rough drafts, unless you have something to say.
I don't have anything to say. I think you have more projects than me. Let me
Water.
quick peek.
I think I have 7.
Oh, I have nowhere near that. I have 4. So you're going to be doubling me for a little while.
5, 6, 7. And I'm not sure how I got 7, but I have 7.
Well, I had a lot of fatigue this week, so it took out some of my knitting time. And then I had I didn't have so much project ADD. I was very focused on certain projects. If I didn't make a concentrated effort to switch projects, I probably would have just been monogamous.
Well, I ended up doing a lot of the same thing. I was really concerned. For a while there, I thought all I was going to have to show was Cerebel. And it's just, I had a lot going on with, like I said, in the Etsy shop, you'll figure out what that is. But it was just very busy time period this week. All right, this is my Moon Garden shawl project, and I don't think I got a whole lot done more than what I did on the podcast last week. I don't know if I finished the row or not. So this is from the Mrs. Howell and the Moon Garden shawl. I'm sorry, every time I read this I think of Gilligan's Island.
I was going to say, wasn't it
but she didn't have a moon garden, but Mrs. Howell. So, yeah, I'm still in the middle of the row. I don't think I actually worked more on this than I did on the podcast.
Still counts.
It counts. You know, it's a mosaic pattern, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just, I didn't want to do it. I just kind of...
You don't want to do it? You don't want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I love the pattern and everything, and she's got it written out beautifully. I just apparently didn't want to knit for a long time. I just wanted to crochet.
That happens.
So,
I mean, not to me really, but it happens.
That's this. I'm hoping that gets more work on it this week. We have doctor's appointments and stuff this week, so maybe I'll do that at the doctor's office. The next one that I'm going to be doing is and I did a few rows on this one during the movie, I think, yesterday. A couple of rows. This is in my Silver Shed USA Bookworm Caterpillar bag that Taya did her first collaboration with Heidi, I think, on this.
Yep, Heidi and Anne. It was Anne's idea.
It was Anne's idea. Anne's amazing.
And then I reached out to Heidi.
Anne is absolutely amazing. This is my...
Because you weren't dyeing yarn yet.
Nope. This is my...
And the colorway we went with was really nice for that. It was...
She did a really pretty
color. It's that green.
Yeah. I think, was it Treebeard or was it
No, it wasn't
Shire?
Treebeard. It wasn't Shire-y.
What was it? Heidi, if you're still watching us...
It was a bright green.
If you're still watching us, what was that colorway? It was a bright green.
It was like a fluorescent green with like specks of black.
It was really pretty.
I have it somewhere in my old notes.
I think I had some of that somewhere, and I don't know what...
No, I mean, I have my old notes. I don't think I have any of it left because I used up like the last bit. It was meant to use the entire skein.
I'm looking in my stash to see if I have any left.
I want to say it had something to do with like zombies or...
It might have. But it was a really pretty colorway.
It was really pretty.
So Heidi, if you are still watching, if you could please give us
perfect
an idea what that color was, because we can't remember. But anyway, this is my little boy blue baby hat. from the Hand Knit Pull On Baby Hat by Ray of Hope. And this is Knit Picks, let me see, Bravo Worsted in the Sky colorway. And I'm doing a smaller hat for this. So this is incredibly stretchy. It just really is.
It matches your shirt.
Yeah, it does. This would make a nice sweater. This is kind of like what you do on your sweater. The one that's miles and miles of ribs. Mm-hmm. This is good. Yeah, I like it. It's very cushy. It's going to be really nice on a baby's head if I ever finish it. I will finish it. I like working on it, and this is one of the ones I did want to knit on, so I did. Right. Yesterday while we were watching a movie. I forget what it was called, but it was...
Who was in it?
Not anybody really that you would remember except George Tobias and... the guy who played in Casablanca, who played Paul, the one who Elsa was in love with, married to.
Oh, yeah.
He's a foreign actor.
I never really knew he was in... I mean, I'm sure he was in other things, but I don't think I've ever seen him in anything
He was in this one, too. It's a good movie. It was about two people who had committed suicide, and a bunch of people had gotten killed on the way to a ship. It was during wartime, and their car got hit by a bomb, and they're on this ship, and it's really interesting because the suicides know that they passed away, but
is it Ghost Ship?
No, I don't think so. Because it's caught Between Two Worlds, I think it's called.
Okay.
I think it's called. Anyway, it's like early, like World War II-ish era.
Because it was really funny. I just finished listening to an episode of Ridiculous History where they're talking about the Mary Celeste, and they're talking about a movie about a haunted ship.
Well, this isn't haunted. It's not. It's not like that. It's not about ghosts. It's about dead people. It's you understand the difference when you. I don't want to give away the plot.
Oh, okay.
So it's really good. I don't know. I'll try to remember to put that in the show notes in the group, but I don't guarantee.
Because every once in a while, ghosts are handled
Patty
in a different way, which I really like the one where it's with the guy from My Fair Lady,
Rex Harrison.
Rex Harrison as what was he? Was like I know he's a ghost, but he was like a captain or whatever. Mm-hmm. He actually it was one of the few parts where it's like, oh, he kind of looks nice there.
Well, he was. That was I always think of that one. Isn't that the one where he had to make something right before he could? It was a German bombed the ship, and I forget. I know what you're talking about.
But like he fell in love with her, and he kind of watched her through her life.
Oh no, that's something else. That's not a ship.
No, it wasn't our ship. It was in the house.
To Mrs. Muir.
Yes,
Let's go to Mrs. Muir. Yeah.
No.
That's an excellent movie. That was with Hope Lang. Oh, Hope Lang did she do the movie? Anyway, tangent. Sorry. That's a little.
That's what I usually think of for a ghost movie that's done well.
Yeah, it was done well. And in the show, he actually watched over not just the mother, but the little girl too. There's a little girl involved.
There's a show?
Yeah, it's called The Ghost of Mrs. Muir. Huh. Okay. So anyway, so that was the baby blue hat. The whole tangent got started because I was working on that during that movie. So,
but not the Ghost of Mrs. Muir.
Not the Ghost of Mrs. Muir. Patty will know the actual name of the movie, I'm sure. Okay. All right. Because we've been talking about back and forth about Guys and Dolls.
That had such stilted speech patterns. It was really weird. I'm not quite sure why they made that.
I don't know, but
decision.
There were a couple of movies that had that with the really stilted.
Did it tend to all be gangster?
I don't know. A lot of them did.
Which is interesting. Why would you make that creative decision then?
I don't know. It might have been something that was done at the time. It might not have been stilted back then. Maybe it was something that was done.
But it's significantly different if you watch other movies of the period.
But they're not gangster, though. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
It's just really interesting because it was only certain characters that did it. Mm. Like Frank Sinatra's strongly did. A lot of the gangsters strongly did, but you don't notice like Adelaide doing it. Mm-hmm. Or
the other girl.
Or the other girl. Or even
Nicely?
Not Nicely.
No, he did. He
did. The one I was thinking is
Sky?
Sky.
Yeah.
Sky doesn't have the stilted language.
Yeah.
It's just really an interesting...
This is a knitting and crocheting podcast, not a movie podcast.
So, it gave me a chance to finish my row.
And that's all that's important, right?
Yes. So, in my Plover Bird TARDIS Bigger on the Inside bag, This is the, kick me out my show notes, my bonfire wrap. It's a Dobbin Wood pattern by K.F. Jones of Bakery Bears fame. I'm using Miss Babs Yowza in the colorways Wanna Go Crazy. I lost the ball band for this, so I'm not quite sure what the color is for the brown.
It's really pretty.
And then this Dragonfly, I didn't actually have a colorway for it.
Right.
Because it came in a set. It was meant to be like a fade.
Right.
So, I actually ran out of the color right here. I had to go switch over to another one.
Did I buy a set the same time you bought that?
Yeah, but you bought a different, for a different pattern. You bought like for a, cow.
Oh, right, it's up there still. Yeah.
It's
blue and gray and...
Yeah.
Of course.
But...
That's pretty. You did a lot of work on that.
Yep. So... It's actually not a ton of work. I probably somewhere down here. It's stocking out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So... Actually, I'm not sure where it was last time. I think I'd already entered the orange. It's kind of like striping-ish. Kind of tigery.
Tigery.
But I kind of think it was browns colors.
Very nice.
So.
Okay. In my Me, My Dog, and Some Yarn bag by the lovely Kim, Black Horse Knitter, is my watercolors cowl, and I did a ton of this yesterday. I guess this is the one I was working on during that movie. And I did that one as well, but look at this. I don't know if you can tell how much I've done, but this is getting really long. Here, maybe get it this way. See? And I have this much left, but I want it to be able to wrap at least twice when I crochet it together. And right now, it would be hard pressed to do once without choking. Well, yeah, I guess I could do. I want it to be just a little longer. So I have this much yarn. I'll see how far I get before I decide that it's ready to be finished. But I must have done several rows on this because it's grown quite a bit. I'm sorry, Taya. Look how pretty those colors
I'm right for my chart.
Yes, in front of your chart.
Good heavens.
You don't need to be doing that chart right now.
Why not?
Because it's your turn.
No, it's not. You have to do two.
But it's still your turn. Rude child.
You only did one.
I know. Okay, so this one is getting worked on. This one gets worked on quite a bit. I like this pattern in case you might be in any doubt at all, or for new people. I've done multiple versions of this pattern. Okay. My next one is in my Kickapoo Owls Holiday Owls bag. And it's the Tangerine Preemie Baby hat, and I did a couple rows on this, a couple rounds. Doesn't look much different. I can usually make one of these in various sizes, you know, anywhere from 2 hours to 6 hours if it's a bigger hat, or you know, a day or something, but I'm not in any hurry. So here it is. The pregnancy center stuff is still waiting to go out anyway.
Right.
So that's the preemie hat. I think I finally put the other hat in there because it's not in here anymore. It's a regular Cindy Wood loom. I think I think Laura actually gave me this loom. So
yeah, she could as well.
Yeah, she gave me a lot of loom. She spoils me. Okay, your turn.
So this is an Arden Carlos Christmas ornament. You can't tell right now because I didn't get overly far. This is going to be a rocking horse. And yeah, this is going to be like on a table or something. It's not meant for us.
Yeah.
Just for the fun of
excuse me,
knitting the Christmas ornaments. Like I said, you know, I tend to use the decreases from yes.
I'm trying to figure out what color that is. Is it purple or brown?
It's like a maroon.
It's very pretty.
I use decreases and increases from Marianne Stevenson. I think it's Stevenson. And I use the actual pattern from Arden Carlos because I prefer her way of decreasing and increasing. So, but yeah, I mean, that's basically it for this because there's not a whole lot to show on it.
Well, it's just a little bit. It's just started to
Yeah, it's only
work.
you're only going to begin.
It's going to be
to see it.
very dramatic, which is good.
Well, yeah, I mean that's if you can't see it, there's no real point.
Mm-hmm. How many projects do you have left? 2?
2.
Okay, so I'm going to do one at a time then. In my Plover Bird's
How many
teacups
do you have
bag,
left?
3. Plover teacups bag is my other Sorabelle.
No, Mom, you need to do 2 this time, and then you can do 1 at a time. Because you do 1 now, then I do 1.
Then I do 1, then you do 1, then I do 1.
Okay, never mind.
Don't confuse me.
She always has to be last.
No, I don't.
Yes, she does.
You always have to be first. Anyway, so this is my Perfectly Reckless cowl. I did some work on this one, but as you saw on the other one, that's the one I'm getting so close to finishing it that I put this one down. So this one is very, very bright. It's Miss Babs Yowza What a Skein in the Perfectly Reckless colorway. And this one, along with the other one, will probably go to Evan's home or on the table or something. I like making them cowls because they're light, and that. But if you wrap it around, then it could be warm. So I'm probably using a bigger hook on this one than I need to, but I don't know. Sometimes you just want something a little more open. So that's going in here. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, well, I'm going to finish this needle, and then I'll pull up my next one. Just 2 more stitches.
I think what I'll do for the charity along stuff is I'm going to have a thread, and I'll just keep editing it if it allows me to put pictures in it, so that I don't have to keep counting myself. I just want to, maybe I'll put it in show off thread, because I don't want to mess up our count.
Right. Okay, so excuse me. The next project is actually new. Last week I had started Davina's Christmas stocking, and I decided I didn't like it.
Ready, set, go.
Yeah, actually you're right. Actually, this project and the next 2 are ready to go.
Next 2? Oh yeah, next 2, yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't like it was, instead of it being color work like it looked like, it was actually duplicate stitch.
Right.
And it's a pain in the neck, and that's not what I wanted. I thought I was getting a color work pattern, and I wasn't. And I didn't like how the top part is really stretchy, and the bottom part, you know, as you start doing the color work, it was less so. I just didn't like the way the pattern was written. So I ended up instead modifying a pattern, still using the same colors, but it was the Timeless. I had knit for our table the Christmas stocking Timeless Christmas by Pattern Duchess. So I started that, but I gave Davina the option. If you remember, I'm going to pull up the old one. So what I liked about this, and I had said this when I had finished it last time, was the idea that you just could easily replace any one of these charts.
As long as it had the same stitch
count.
Yeah.
So
do they generally have the same stitch count for the stockings?
I mean, it all depends on the size of your yarn, or.
But if it's like made for the same yarn for the most part, and
I mean, it all depends. Because
honestly, this kind of a thing doesn't have to be to gauge. It's just going to hang.
Yeah. But I went ahead and I pulled out my color work chart dictionary that I have for I think it was Scandinavian charts, and I let Davina choose a couple that I had picked out that would fit what I needed.
Oh, and Rena, she was going to be on the podcast today with her hat, but things happened this morning and she's not able to. Mm-hmm. We're going to try for next week.
Yeah. So using the same colors, She's really excited because she got to choose.
Yeah, she made some really cute choices.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'll block it so it ends up being a little wider. Right now it's about as wide as Mom's is. But I think it'll block out a little bigger. So the top two are the same.
Are you going to block this on a sock blocker?
I have a sock blocker. I might block it out on a sock blocker.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you going to do that? Yeah.
I have one. If it's big enough and it'll stretch out farther, I will. But so initially I planned, it's going to all be silver on top of the blue. Well, I made a mistake with this one because I didn't.
Oh.
So I decided instead I'm going to alternate.
That'll be pretty.
So, this one's silver with the blue on top, and the silver is sparkly. Then blue with the silver, and the dog, this is a husky here.
And you can see this light blue, that's the, kind of the dividers here. It's going to be heel and toe, right?
It's going to be heel and toe, and also it's going to be what it's going to hang from.
Okay. That's so pretty.
And then at the, when I turn the foot, what did I do with it?
Didn't even get it? I got it.
So right here, I found some little dogs that I'll put here.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
And the stitch count should be almost exactly what I need for that. And then right here will be some snowflakes. So it's her dogs and snowflakes Christmas stocking.
I just had to remind Davina that not to be so loud because she's getting ready to have her snack.
But yeah, that got quite a bit of work because it didn't exist
at all.
At all, yeah.
Very pretty. It's a week.
It took me less than a week, Mom, because
yeah, because you pulled it out a couple days later.
I didn't do it on Monday because I was so wiped out on Monday from Sunday. So I think I probably started on Tuesday, but I had to get Davina to choose her charts before I could get it started.
That's so pretty.
And because I had to make sure she was okay with the idea of me switching.
Right.
And I think she liked the idea of being able to choose hers.
She was thrilled to be able to pick her own.
So there'll be a dog on each side.
And you showed them the little dogs.
I haven't shown the little dogs, but they'll see it next.
Well, you showed on your other stocking, right?
Where they'll be at.
Yeah.
So,
that's right. They weren't on there. Yeah.
Because this is not. Well, obviously, it wasn't on the original. This is something that's completely different for her.
She's really excited about it, so that's good.
So I mean, this is completely unique to her. I was wanting to play with that book anyway because I pulled it out to look at it for that express purpose the other day because I knew as soon as I finished working that pattern, I was like, wow, this could really. It's really good, well set up for that. I really like the heel for it.
Well, you think about it, it's kind of like people who have a favorite sock pattern and they just change up whatever. They change up the design or whatever. It's the pattern itself.
Right. It's a base pattern. And this is very well set up for just changing out. I mean, the stitch count wasn't exact. It was a little bit less than what I needed, so I just created a distance between the dogs. I added a row on either end, and it gave me what I needed.
Yeah, that's no problem.
So
nobody's gonna know the difference. Yeah.
And I think it'll work out fine.
Very nice.
So, but yes, the other dogs will all be going in the same direction. These two, like if you were to flatten it this way, they're facing each other. But I feel like when you have two big animals like that, they need to be facing each other. But the little dogs are going to be looking like they're chasing each other around the stocking. So,
it'll be funny.
But yeah, this has been fun. You know, this isn't even real. You can't even claim it's a design because it's just stealing from existing charts and an existing pattern. It's just an adjustment.
Very nice.
So
maybe someday.
And not anytime soon, that's for sure.
Okay. This is in my this isn't Ploverbird. This is my bag. My Knit is my bag, French lady's bag. And it's a frog / ready, set, go because this was, and I'm not putting it in because I forgot to take a picture when it was. I have a picture, but maybe I did take a picture. It's on my camera, probably. This is my newly started Alora Dannon sweater.
Oh, you did that? Weren't you almost finished with that?
No, I was about halfway through. I got tired of not knowing where I was, so I just started over again. There was nothing wrong with it. I had to keep asking you where I was because I would put it away for a long period of time. So what I'm going to do is I've started over, very small start. I also went down a size for the size of the sweater, and I'm going to do my notating a little bit differently so I can actually know where I'm at. So I've only done about maybe 3 or 4 rows of this. It's called the In3's Baby Cardigan Pattern by Kelly Herdrich. Herdrich? I'm not sure if it's Herdrich or Herdrich. And it's a fun pattern. I just got confused because I kept putting it away for a long period of time.
I lost a DPN.
Well, we'll find it afterward. Do you need it right this instant?
No, I have an extra one. It's just annoying because...
Right. Well, we'll find it. Oh, here it is. No?
No, it's going to be the same. It's silver.
Oh, okay.
It's thinner.
Do you know which direction you dropped it?
No, of course not.
Okay. It's your turn.
Let me put this back in here so I win. Because it fell when I wasn't looking.
Right.
Okay, so my last one is in my Silver Shed USA knitting things bag. This is Mama talked about last week how she was going to have, I think you talked about it on the podcast, how you wanted me to knit your Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe hat for you. And actually, first of all, Davina Scene was made out of Mom's yarn. This is also made out of Mom's yarn.
I had to use them for shop samples, or, my shop.
So, I went ahead and started that, and actually, I've gotten quite far so far.
I love the way it's turning out, much better than I would have done.
I chose to go with blue as the background and white as the figures. Asked Mom what she preferred. She didn't care.
I think that's a good choice.
And I figured she's always afraid of getting stuff dirty, so this is probably a better choice.
Love it.
So the lions just got finished. They're white lions.
Oh, I see them now, yeah. It's funny how the optical illusion,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even when you're knitting it, you're in my eye. It's like I'm sitting there trying to figure out where the lines are. I'm trying to look at the blue.
Right.
But it takes a couple seconds.
I like that a lot. You know what it reminds me of? Wedgwood.
Yes.
So
we just finished up here with the lions.
My hat.
And it's not outside the realm of possibility I could have it done next week. But I'm half tempted not to give it to you to your birthday.
That's fine.
Because it's not like I can handle
That's fine. I'm not overly concerned. I was going to suggest that, actually. That or my pony. Poor little pony.
Well, right now the crocheting requires too much bending.
Yeah. I'm not worried. I'll get it when I get it.
Crocheting requires a lot more focus for me than knitting does.
Okay, in my Kiki Boo tea bag on the brown field is a new project. This is my Sarah dishcloth project from the Cerebel scarf pattern. Yes, it is now a dishcloth in my Cerebel. So I'm this far. I wanted to do it. And it's such a pretty pattern, even for a dishcloth. I don't think it's too big for a dishcloth. So I'm probably about maybe a quarter to a third of the way through, because these stitches take a lot of, they're very tall and wide, so it shouldn't take me a whole lot more. I don't know if I might have this finished next week, maybe. So
since you tend to like to work on Cerebels.
Yeah, this is the Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. I don't know what the color is. I don't think I have the ball band in here. No, I don't. So that's this. It's also new. So, yay for new starts.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I don't have anything else.
Oh, okay.
I told you that I...
Right, no, you did. I do have an FO, but since my FO is not as nice as your FO...
I don't oh, yeah, I do have an FO.
I'm going to show... Since I had a new dishcloth, this is the one that was no particular pattern. I did finish it, and I'm going to put it in the kitchen. I'm going to take a picture and then put it in the kitchen where it can be used. It's a little wonky. I'm not sure why. I think it's the way I decided to do the sides, but this isn't going anywhere, so it's just mine. And I don't know if you can see the ridges on it and stuff.
Yeah, I think they can.
So yeah, this is done.
And ridges are good to have on a dishcloth.
Yes. So that will go in my dishcloth drawer. Okay. That takes care of my FO.
So yeah, and I actually forgotten I had this.
How did
So
you forget that?
I did. I'm gonna take this off because I need to
Let me
model
see
it.
that.
This is the Yorkshire Tam by Linda Moss, same designer as the designer of. Hang on, Mom. You don't pull it down really low.
Okay.
'Cause
So
you
it
need-
doesn't cover your ears.
It might cover the really top
Okay.
because but it's not like a
Winter
hat.
That's cute.
Um,
I might leave my hair completely down for this.
mhm.
Yeah, this one fits. I was worried it would not fit. This one, try it on.
Well, because you're trying to wear it like if you're trying to wear it like a normal hat, it might
Right.
not.
No, but like
Particularly not when blocked that way.
the other one that you let me try on, it wouldn't come over my thing.
Mhm.
So my clip.
So,
That's really pretty.
this is Yorkshire, sorry, I'm trying to find I'm looking for where woven ends. Okay. The Yorkshire Tam by Linda Moss.
Very
So,
nice.
yeah, once I block it, it's Tam's a lot better.
Very pretty.
So, this was the hat that first interested me in her patterns. Because all of her patterns are just nice and beautiful and complex.
And they are very well written.
Yes, and this is all fingering weight.
No, the other one is DK.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was actually thinking of giving this one away.
Yeah. To yeah.
So
Lady of Church.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's blocked as a TM. So that's just the way it closed.
Very nice.
Um,
I like that. It's very pretty on the top. You show the top. It's very pretty.
so
Always reminds me of a stained glass window. It's so pretty.
it just turned out very well. Really enjoyed knitting that. I actually had messed up something with the decreases, ended up dropping a stitch when I was done
Oh no.
fixing it. So actually the top's not quite as neat as I'd like it to be, but I don't think anyone can tell.
Very pretty.
I'm gonna put this one back on. But yeah, I was happy to get that finished. I'm glad it blocked out the way I needed it to.
Very
Because I
pretty.
wasn't sure initially when I finished if it was going to be too small.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put it on and it just needed blocked. It doesn't work as well as a normal slouch you do it to have it as a tan.
Right. Okay, any royalties?
Yes. So I received, it's on Monday actually I think, a surprise package from Brittany. And it
Hi,
did
Brittany.
come at the perfect time because I was wiped out that whole day.
She's so sweet.
So thank you so much, Brittany.
Brittany is B-Wing of
Yes.
Comforting Crafts.
So, one of her cards. Let's see. Not going to read you the inside or anything, but
Oh,
I
isn't
do
that
want you
pretty?
to see her work. Because
She sells her cards on Facebook.
Let's see, Stamping with Brit.
I think.
I think it's Stamping with Brit.
Yeah. Just look up Brittany. I don't know if there's her last name on there. Just look up Comforting Crafts. You can find it from there.
Yeah, so
Or contact her on the group.
she had asked me how many yards I need for my Christmas ornaments, and she sent me a bunch of scraps so I can use these for my Christmas
That's really
ornaments.
pretty.
So this will
Look at
be
those.
really nice.
I like those colors.
I do too. I really like this gold.
Yeah, I thought you might.
These, whoopsies. Can't get it. Thank you. So, these will be definitely going to Christmas ornaments. And then this is awesome. They came all wrapped together. Just really sweet. This is Action Comics. This would have been the first Superman. June 1938. So that would have been the first Superman, which have not read. So whoopsie. So it's gonna be. He hasn't quite defined as a character. I know early on some of his character decisions were questionable. And this, it came with a Superman poster. It's kind of frightening looking there.
Yeah, that's more modern.
It's kind of stern.
It's more modern artwork than the...
Yeah.
Well, he was probably fighting somebody.
He probably was. I mean, I know Clark could look stern at times,
Yeah.
but it's not usually what I think about for him.
Yeah. Anyway,
And then this is a classic, like, big deal in comic circles.
Yeah.
And this is the death of Superman. This changed things a lot for comics. They sold them with the black armbands. I think he stayed dead for like a year.
It was a whole year-long run of things.
And yeah, it was when he came back. After that point, death in comics became meaningless.
Yeah, even though Phoenix came back first, it was a different kind of thing.
Yeah, this was the first time, really, that a big character died and came back in such a way that it ended up really being meaningful for the comic industry. And I've heard about how they drew this, and I'm really excited to actually look at it. As the fight progresses and the stakes become higher and higher, the panels become larger and larger.
And fewer.
And fewer. So to the point where, okay, well now there's only 2 panels for the page. Okay, well now there's only 1 panel each page. And I think the last panel might actually spread over 2 pages. Yeah. Yeah, the actual...
last couple,
and the very last one where Clark has died, is over 2 pages. It's just the way they drew it was phenomenal, because the artwork's actually really good in this. Actually, who's the artist? Let's see. Letters, colors, inkers, pencilers. No one that I actually recognize. Yeah, I don't recognize any of the names for the artists, but the way they drew this was really phenomenal. Very good storytelling with this. So, I look forward to reading this, because I actually have not read it, even though it is a seminal comic. So, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Brittany.
Are you done with royalties?
Yes.
I don't have any royalties, but I do have some shop news. I want to thank everybody who bought Mystery Skeins. I sold out my first update, and I have a few skeins left for my second update. I will be doing a few more to round out this selling of the mystery yarns to help with Taya's medical bills. If you're not aware of what happened because you're new or you've missed the podcast or you're behind a little bit, Taya had neurosurgery a week before Christmas, and of course she's had a chronic illness for a couple of years or more, and her medical bills have been piling up. So I'm doing the mystery yarn sales to help defray some of the costs, and the first listing just flew out, and that was amazing.
Yeah,
and I want to say a very special thank you to Gracie's mom 62, because she bought out a whole bunch. She bought out what was in my shop that first time. After the first 2 sales, she bought everything out. So I'm going to Winchester to deliver that for her. She was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then I've had other people who have stepped up. I've had at least one person ask me if I could put a different weight in, so I'm going to be dyeing yarn for that. I have right now Fingering and DK and Fingering and DK Stardust, I think, in the shop. If you want a mystery yarn, I'm going to be starting dyeing up yarn in the next few days for the mystery as well as for the shop itself. So if you wanted to do something and were unable to for whatever reason, but you don't see the base you want, then contact me, and if it's a base I have, I will go ahead and dye something up. It will be mystery. And if not, and you really want something like that, it might take a little longer because I would have to order. But I do have a fairly good selection, except for the sport weight. I only have a couple of skeins of that, and one of them is a pre-order. So, but everything else I seem to have. I have worsted, I have fingering sock, I have DK. I think I still have sparkle of all that. So, you know, no pressure at all. I know a lot of people have asked about it and, you know, maybe have missed it. So that's just out there for that. I'm really excited that so many people bought yarn.
Yes, thank you.
I showed you the other skeins that are going into the shop just as listings, not as mystery. They have to have pictures taken of them. And I did one more. And people will probably recognize this as Plum Deluxe, my original. And if you see that the orange looks a little different, it is a little different. I didn't do the same dye stock for the orange. I had forgotten to label it, so I used a different one. I can repeat it, but this is a Plum Deluxe variant. So the orange is a little more on the copper side. I can reproduce it. And this is the first colorway I did for Plum Deluxe tees. And it's gone through a couple of renditions, but you know, I'll probably keep it to this one and the original revamped. So this will be going up in the shop in the next, whenever I can get pictures taken and everything, and have the listings put up. That takes care of that. I don't think there's any other shop news at this point, except to say thank you once again. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, yes, there is something. I'm sorry, I almost forgot. I had said on Instagram, and I believe on Facebook and in our group, I do apologize for putting the listing up so late on the group. I was so focused on getting it in all the different places, I forgot to put the announcement that listing was up. But
and then also took so long for the podcast to load because we were having internet issues.
Yes. So I'm gifting one person an original design Silver Shed USA bag. I think it's a large size. I have to go back and check. That Anne put together. I just got the pictures. I will show you in just a minute on my phone. Or no, I'll show you here on my tablet, Kindle. Davina did the artwork. It is an original bag, and it will be given away. I put all the people who buy yarn, and it's not by number of purchases in terms of like I went back and bought. It's the number of skeins of yarn. So if you went there and you bought one yarn, you'd have one chance. If you went there and bought 5 yarns, you got 5 chances on that one order. So this is just to say thank you to one. You know, I wish I could thank everybody. I can't do it except for verbally.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give you all a chance to have this bag. Let me show you what it looks like. Let's see. Okay.
You can probably turn it sideways, Mom.
Well, it doesn't show up as well. I guess. Can you see this?
Hold on. Come back here.
If you go too big, it's going to ruin the way the bag looks. Can you see it?
There we go, Mom. There.
Okay. This is the bag. It's a gypsy for Franciscan gypsy. And the words say exotic, dancing, musical, mysterious, free spirit. And then there's little flowers. So, and the gypsy is playing a tambourine and dancing in her bare feet. And it's a really cute bag.
Oopsie.
There we go. So
Careful what buttons you hit. You're hitting buttons at the bottom.
There we go. So you can see that. That's what is on offer for just as a thank you. And let me see here. This is another view, but you're not going to be able to see it as well, maybe. You can see
they can't.
I just want to show you the inside is gold. So that's my thank you. Anne has been absolutely fabulous with this. She amazes me. That's Anne Brody, Silver Shed USA. Anytime you need a bag, she's awesome.
Yes.
Okay? She is absolutely amazing. So that is that for my shop news. Let me get out my phone here before it uses up all my juice. There we go. Okay, now, get back to my show notes. Okay.
We really shouldn't have anything else.
Except for what's going on here. I mentioned briefly. Okay, this is going to be, if you don't like to hear, real life stuff. It's not a whole lot of medical or anything like that, but if you don't want to hear this kind of stuff, we will understand and say, we'll see you next week, hopefully. Yep. We will plan on podcasting next Saturday, most likely. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to hear the real life, or you don't like to hear medical or that kind of stuff, then we will say, have a wonderful, blessed week full of every good thing, and we will hope to see you back here for the Fun in the Woman Cave. But now we're going to start talking about just a little bit about what's happening here, and then we'll,
Yeah, I don't know that we really have.
We don't have a lot. Much. I just wanted to say that we do have, things are starting to get rolling in a more normal type of situation. I've been able to go to daily mass once or twice this week. I was able to go to adoration on Monday, and Talia has been out with the family a lot more, even though she sometimes gets wiped out still, so her energy level is coming up a little bit. Thank you so much for all those people who said that she looks better, that we both look more rested, because it's hard to know for sure if I'm just doing wishful thinking. Mm-hmm. So having people say that Talia looks better is really very gratifying for me to say that she's looking better and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to wrap this up real quick because I think she's probably getting tired. But
not as bad as last week.
Well, that was 2 hours. Yeah. The other thing is that I mentioned briefly that we're going to be doing doctor's appointments starting next week. So when I said briefly that's hopefully where I'll start doing my knitting and crocheting and get some time in there. I may not have as much crafting because I'm going to be hopefully dyeing up some more yarn. But that's basically the life stuff. Is there any life stuff you want to go through?
No, it's just normal. It takes time to recover, and the fatigue can be quite... I lost at least 1 or 2 days of knitting to fatigue. Mm-hmm. So
it's coming along. It's coming along. So we do once again want to thank you all for your support and encouragement, your prayers. Continued prayers are very much appreciated for her continued recovery, that she'll be able to go back to work when she's supposed to, and everything like that. You guys are awesome. We've had so much support on the threads and personally, via private message and emails and things like that. You guys are the best ever, and I've always said that. They are the best.
Yes.
So we thank you for that. And having said all that, we're going to go ahead and close up, right?
Yep.
We want to I want to thank the people who commented both on YouTube and on our PHN group. We always appreciate that, but I like to mention the ones on YouTube just in case, because they're not always on the group proper, the group group.
Main group.
So we thank you, Fiber Hermit, Rena, Pat, Andy Bunn, Sharon, Wombat of Doom 53, LNS Crafts, SK Hoyt, Angela, Aquila, and a lefty. I guess it's part of her name. She has this great big long name, Aquila. And so we thank all of you for your support, and we were going to wish you a very happy, joyful week full of every blessing and good thing, and hope to see you back here for the Fun in the Woman Cave on Saturday. This is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 384, and that's a wrap.
Bye.